This means mass arrests, and we know this is going to happen worldwide, so they needed a cover to restrict travel and get people prepared to have an interruption in supplies while a financial reset and the arrests occur. President Trump is trying to tell Americans to be prepared under the guise of a pandemic. The stock market needs to adjust down in order to do a complete reset and move us to a gold-backed currency and get rid of the Fed. The stock market has been falsely inflated for a while. The CV is the perfect crisis to make a lot of it work. Travel will likely shut down for a brief period, and maybe all schools and universities will be shut down so kids are home safe with their parents when the arrests occur. We could even have a period of martial law to suppress opportunities for looting and riots. Keeping people away from large crowds minimizes false flags, mass shootings, or other catastrophic events. Can't have a school shooting if the kids aren't in school. Having the CV crisis allows voters to shut down our borders so Homeland Security and our military can focus on keeping peace. Also, voters said everything with the CV will be over in April. He said it because he knows it is fake and they plan to take action in March, and by April, the American public will be informed of what has occurred and why. India had a full-on celebration when voters visited. It is because he has struck a deal with India to start producing many of the things we were having China produce cheaply, and it will help India a lot. I think China's leader is in on it with Trump, possibly. When Trump visited China, he took him to the Forbidden City, and this has never been done with another world leader, likely to have complete privacy to plan. China has a deep state, too, that is teamed up with our CIA and deep state bad actors, the Clintons, Bidens, Romney, Feinstein and others. Doug Collins, Matt Gaetz, Ted Cruz, Mike Pence, Mike Pompeo and Mark Meadows were all supposedly exposed to CV. What better way to explain their upcoming absence in DC than quarantine at their homes? You already told us when the mass arrests happen, voters will be safely out of the country. AF-1 can fly continuously, if needed, because it can be refueled in the air. President Trump is taking his present and future cabinet members with him in AF-1 to keep them out of harm's way, and it won't alert anyone that he is taking them all with. He already announced Mark Meadows will be his new chief of staff. The quarantine centers have all been set up in areas where the concentration of sealed indictments are the highest. This explains why there is barbed wire slanted inward at one I saw in a video. These will be detention centers for the many criminals and traitors. They may even be set up as prisons with the sheer number of them. Gitmo has had a multi-million-dollar upgrade that is completed. A new head judge has been sent to Gitmo. There was a large amount of our troops sent to Gitmo for a 2-year assignment last summer. There were millions spent just upgrading the justice buildings and lawyer offices at Gitmo and another military base in the US. I truly believe Trump, Jen Kelly and Jen Mattis are not on bad terms. I believe it is all an act to take them out of DC and allow them to fly under the radar so they could be at Gitmo and the other base to get everything set up for the military tribunals. The same goes for Sessions. He knows all of it because he was AG while the investigations were occurring and sealed indictments were ramping up. He likely recused himself from the Russian investigation to be able to focus on the other investigations and sealed indictments. He supposedly left on bad terms with Otis, but I'll bet he's been working under the radar since he left DC to get everything ready. Trump has replaced many of the Obama judges and others who would not do the right thing when mass arrests occur. That took a long time to get them confirmed and placed strategically where they will be needed. He is the majority of the Scottish. Justice Roberts is highly compromised and will either be replaced with another conservative justice or has been given a deal to go along with ruling against any attempts to stop justice being served to the criminals and traitors in our government. There have been a lot of National Guard and military equipment movement under the guise of a state of emergency for the CV. They are getting into place to help deal with any civil unrest that will occur when people freak out over the arrests or groups like Antifa try to start problems because they have been paid by Soros to do so. The internet, or at least all social media, will likely go dark, so don't panic if it happens. It won't be forever. They tested taking down specific platforms and cell service a couple of times. The CIA's satellites have been shut down, so they have been blinded. I find it interesting, also, that Gina Haspel was at the last SOTO address smiling ear to ear. CIA directors rarely, if ever, attend SOTO addresses. The Queen of England was locked out at Windsor Castle, briefly on Friday, for the first time ever. It was a marker to tell those following Q that it's time. Trump wore a bright yellow tie in India and today at the CV press conference. He is telling us there is no virus because it is the exact same color as the maritime flag that represents the vessel has no infected people on board. There is no virus. Every state reporting the most cases and deaths are all sanctuary states run by Democrat bad actors in an attempt to get funding for the virus since Trump has cut off any federal funds for sanctuary states. Do you see it now? Trump and Pence have been flying all over, attending group events, hugging people, shaking hands. They are not worried because the virus is fake. Be ready for martial law. Be ready for schools to shut down. Be ready for travel to be restricted. Be ready for the internet to go down. Be ready with supplies to get you through until it's over. Be ready to tell everyone panicking when it happens that it is all planned. See Laura Eisenhower on Twitter, DinarRecaps.com web link latest Intel Genius Patriot Plan. 1. God bless America. Please stock up on popcorn between now and April 10, 2020. 2. Getting civilians and children off the streets, schools and public events prevents the cabal from doing mass killings for distraction, or to take revenge. 3. Quarantine, cover for mass arrests. Self-quarantine is the world leader and Hollywood celeb version of a CEO resignation. 4. Shut down airports and borders equals no escape for the cabal. Earthquake in Glen Falls, NY equals destroying remaining dumb hideouts and shuttles. 5. Capture, execute cabal figureheads and celebs swiftly, without having to red pill the public, which can come later, after the dust has settled. 6. 0% payroll tax, extend April 15th tax deadline equals restructure the IRS, cut off tax revenue to corrupt IRS money funneled to cabal. 7. Draining the swamp operation disguised as a public health safety response. At some point Trump would announce the deal Congress made on coronavirus aid. Was this the soft beginning of Nusara? www.chpost.com web link.